welcome back to another video. Today we have a little maintenance interval DIY guide for a 2023 Acura MDX A-Spec. I believe this is pretty standard for all the new generation MDXs and probably even some of the older ones. So the car's got about 31,000 miles right now, and we already did the transmission fluid change at the dealership, and now we have the rear diff and the transfer case fluid to change, and I will show you where the fill and drain plugs are and the fluids you need for the maintenance. So for this maintenance guide, this is the DPSF fluid. You can see this one. You need 2 quarts. I believe the spec is 1.78 quarts for the rear diff, and with that you're gonna need the washers, the crush washers, for the drain and fill plug. So when you guys get the fluid, if you're gonna do it yourself, make sure you get the appropriate crush washers. One is different. I don't know if it's for the transfer case or the rear diff. One of them is slightly different. You can see. So make sure you get these as well to change with the fluid. So again, this is, you need 2 of these for the rear diff, and I believe the transfer case calls for only like 0.6 quarts, and it's this one. It's the HGO1 GL5 fluid for the transfer case. All right, to do this job you really just only need a fluid pump, and I already went underneath without lifting the car up, so I think you're gonna be fine. You don't need to jack it up. You'll just crawl in there and you can get it done. Let me show you right now where. So crawl underneath here. So here is the transfer case. Let me zoom out. All right, we got some light. So here's the diff right here, and this is very easy. You're gonna see as you get close to here, right over here, this is the fill plug, and you're gonna see it says the DPSF right over there, and then the drain plug is just a little bit further up the vehicle, and it's right over here, right here, this guy. So when you do this job, again, make sure you break this loose first, okay? Don't drain it first, in case you can't get that out and then you're out of luck. So break this loose first and then drain it, okay? I don't know what the torque spec is to tighten it, but just make sure it's nice and snug. You know, you don't need to go Arnold on it. Just make sure it's pretty tight. So fill, drain. A little tip, guys, when you're going to fill this up, Honda Acura did a great job giving you a little access to where you can fill it, right? Instead of trying to sneak the fill tube through like down here, they give you a little access hole up here. Over here you can see where the fill plug is, so you can run your little fill tube like right through here, and you have direct access of it. So really easy to do. And then now we got it just dripping now, so we're gonna go ahead and put the drain bolt. Make sure you wipe this off too pretty good. This is magnetic, so this will pick up all the gunk, you know, from the differential. So give it a good wipe. Again, don't forget to replace the washers. All right, and then just fill it up to where you started. When you see it start pouring out, of there, that means you got it. It's where it needs to be, and you just plug it back up. And you know, when you're doing this job too, I forgot to mention, make sure the car is on a level ground, like a level surface. So you know, don't be up on a steep incline or anything like that. So try to keep the car as leveled as possible. All right, guys, so for the transfer case fluid, you will need to jack up the car just slightly. It is too low, you can't get underneath it, but you don't want to jack it up too much. You know, we talked about keeping the car as leveled as possible, but just to where you give yourself enough room to crawl underneath, okay? So I will show you where the drain and fill plug are for the transfer case. So once you get down here, the MDX got all this, you know, aero shields and such, but they give you good access to here. So here's a transfer case. All right, and this is very easy. Drain plug right here, and fill plug is right above it. That guy right there. See, I can focus. All right, see, right there. Fill plug, drain plug. Just like we talked about before, make sure you get this one loose first, break this loose, and then drain it. All right, and you know, good practice is to always clean up after yourself. So if you get anything dripping around, spray some brake cleaner and clean it all up. All right, so the transfer case is about done dripping. So make sure you change the washers. And you know, the color of this fluid is different from the rear diff, and this was, you could tell it was about time to change it even at 30,000 miles. So don't sit on your fluid, guys. You know, longevity of the car is very important, and the fluids will help get you there. So change them at the interval times, and you'll save yourself a lot of problems down the road. So alright, I think time to fill this, and I don't see any easy way here to get to that, but see if you can, let me see if I can zoom this out. Alright, you got this little pocket here, you got this little pocket here. You know, figure out which best way to route like one of these fluid pumps, right? Get the hose directly in there and then fill it up. So a little thing I wanted to add too, as far as doing this maintenance yourself, right? So the pricing for the fluids, the transfer case fluid is $21 at the Acura dealership, and then I believe the rear diff fluid is $11 a quart. So in material, really, you're spending $40, and labor wise, I believe they quoted me $180 for the rear diff, and then $180 for the transfer case. So all in all, if you do the math, you're saving about $320 for doing this maintenance yourself. So I think the time it took really to do both of them with, you know, cleaning up and everything, it took me about an hour total. So if you're able to do this yourself, you're gonna save quite a bit of money by, you know, just really all you need is a fluid pump and a quarter ratchet. So yeah, consider doing this yourself. I don't think it's worth the money paying the dealership for pretty much a drain and fill. And I had the dealership do the transmission fluid. They quoted me for the MDX with the fluid. It was about $215, and they gave me a discount. So after everything, I only paid $150. So that, it wasn't really worth my time to do it myself. I had them do it, and for warranty purposes too, it's on record that the transmission fluid was done at the dealership. All right, so we got it all cleaned up now. We're all set with the MDX, and now I think around this mileage, the only other thing you really have to keep in mind is the brake fluid. But you do that, I say, just whenever you swap the brakes, you can bleed out the brake fluid or flush it out, and we'll do that in the next video when we do the brakes on this car. All right, stay tuned. I got some more content for you coming up with the MDX, as well as an update on the ILX and a new car that we just added to the fleet. So stay tuned. All right, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.